One of the areas we're most proud of in our approach to this program is that we employed a very rigorous test like you fly approach for this particular spacecraft. While orbital ATK certainly employs a test like you fly approach on all of our spacecraft, I think it was most critical on this program because of the safety aspects and just the complicated nature of rendezvousing with another body in space, and the safety aspect that there are people on that other body. And so we set out from early on in the program of not only defining what the architecture was going to look like and how we'd test the individual components, but we really looked hard at how we would test the system in a way that was reasonable and practical. And so we developed a hardware-in-the-loop simulator system that took a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, has a lot of hardware and software involved, and that we spent a lot of time checking out and verifying that it, in and of itself, was adequate. And so we were able to use that simulator, a very high-fidelity simulator, to make sure the spacecraft was going to operate as expected. We used models of the spacecraft for its dynamic response. We used models of the avionics on the spacecraft and the sensors. We used the model of the International Space Station and how we would communicate. And so we invested significant resources in that simulator because we felt it was absolutely critical to make sure that when we flew, we would know how it would respond. And by and large, we were very successful. When we flew the first mission, it worked very well. It worked very much like the simulator said it would. Of course, there's a limit to how much you can do to testing it. I mean, you can launch a demonstration mission and rendezvous with another body, but that's really not a practical way to go. But what we did on this program, on the COTS program, is when we launched the spacecraft, we did do demonstration maneuvers before we were allowed to rendezvous with the spacecraft, to make sure, rendezvous with the space station, to make sure we understood if it was operating the way it was intended. Was it listening to the commands from the ground, commands from the ISS, things like that. And that all proved to be very successful as part of the program.